I'm gonna be showing you guys quickly 2 ways to get those frizzly frazzly ends out. We do not want cool air for this. As I go through the ends, round out the brush a little bit, and we will see the magic happen after. Because I'm not steaming my head and I'm just steaming the ends here, I'm gonna do it still on my head. I'm gonna speed this up and just kind of get this all going for you. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and today I'm going to show you guys how we take our straight synthetic styles and get any of the frizzly frazzlies out of them that you might see at the ends as you continue to wear them. So before I jump into it all, I'm going to remind you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can learn even more about alternative hair. All right, so something that a lot of people don't truly realize when they jump into the synthetic wig world is that synthetic hair is nothing like human hair. Synthetic hair is essentially plastic if you think about it. So the type of care that you need to give to your synthetic wigs is going to be much different than the type of care that you're going to give to your human hair wigs. And the way your synthetic fibers react to the world around you is going to be different than the way human hair reacts to the world around you. But I think a lot of people purchase synthetic wigs and they think, oh, this is going to be great. I won't have to do anything on this. I don't need to maintain it. It's just going to look like this all the time. But that is not true. Just like purchasing anything of value, essentially, you have to maintain it. Now, one thing that specifically happens to synthetic fibers, especially your longer synthetic fibers, is that they get frizzy and frazzly and like almost dry looking at the ends due to a couple things. The longer the fiber is, the more it's gonna move around and get all tangly. And the more tangles you get, the more you have to brush it. And the more you brush it or comb it, the more you're pulling at the fiber. And the more you're pulling at the fiber, the more you're stretching it out and then causing it to coil back and get frizzy at the ends. Something else that happens is, again, the longer the fiber, the more it's gonna rub on your clothes and get a bunch of friction on the ends, causing a little bit of friction frizz. So what you're going to see is kind of this like poofy mess here that, here, I hope you can see this. It's no longer soft and smooth. It no longer looks shiny and lovely. It's just kind of like it like expanded a little bit. And it also is really hard to get your fingers through no matter how much you've detangled it. So I have, just before this video, combed through this to detangle it. And I'm not kidding. I did this like 3 minutes before I started. And already I'm having a hard time getting my fingers through the ends here because that's just the nature of this. When it gets frizzy and frazzly, it's super hard to get your fingers through it. It feels really rough. It feels really dry. It looks just like blah, you know? And these fibers here, this isn't even like that bad if I think about it. I've had a lot worse frizzly frazzlies happen on my wigs before, but this is the worst one I have on hand right now. So I wanted to use this one to show you how we're gonna take the frizzly frazzly, dry, icky ends out of a plain regular synthetic straight fiber. And I have 2 ways that I'm gonna show you. Now, I've done a similar video to this before, but I'm gonna try and condense it a little bit more in this video so that we get a little bit more to the point. So like I said, I'm gonna be showing you guys quickly 2 ways to get those frizzly frazzly ends out. One way is gonna be with a fabric steamer, and the other way is gonna be with the Envy 3-in-1 air styler. Now, the reason I'm going to be using these 2 tools is because synthetic fibers cannot withstand high heat. If you use too high of heat on your plain synthetic fiber, you're going to melt it, you're going to singe it, and it's essentially going to be unfixable. Now, the reason I'm going to be showing you guys the Envy 3-in-1 air styler on this is because this tool is made specifically for synthetic, like plain synthetic fibers. The heat gauge on this is low enough to make sure these plain synthetic fibers can withstand the heat. And then the reason I'm going to show you guys how to do this with a steamer is because synthetic styles, even though they cannot withstand high dry heat, they can actually withstand high wet heat. So steam styling your synthetics is a very common practice. Now, you can use essentially any steamer you want, as long as it's something that has a steady flow, that doesn't like splutter and splurt too much, if you know what I mean. There's sometimes you get those steamers where it's just like, oh my gosh, it has like a mind of its own and it's just like, spitting all over the place. As long as you have a steamer that has a nice steady flow, then you're gonna be okay. We do also carry a couple steamers on our website that are specifically made for synthetic wigs. Now, I know y'all are gonna ask me, well, what steamer do you have, Amanda? So my steamer it's just from Amazon. I've had this steamer for, I don't know, like 10 years maybe. I got it a long time ago. The brand is Housmile. Housmile, and I don't believe it exists on Amazon anymore, so I can't necessarily give you the link to this, but it's honestly just a simple clothing steamer. Okay, let's hop to it. So the first thing I would recommend you're doing before anything else is to detangle your wig and then wash it. Now, if you washed it just a couple days ago, then you don't need to rewash it, but if it has been a little while since you washed it, I definitely recommend you doing that. It's gonna give you just a nicer result. Now, if you are unsure of how to wash your synthetic wig, I do have a video on that. So make sure you go through my channel, and you can even use the search bar to search how to wash a wig, and it should pop up for you. All right, once you've done the washing and the detangling and your wig is dry and ready to go, we're gonna get started. Okay, so the first one I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna do on one side of my wig, and I'm gonna be using the Envy 3-in-1 Air Styler. So this is a really great product to use for plain synthetics and heat-friendly synthetics and even human hair, you guys. It's really a good all-around tool to have if you are a wig wearer. But the reason it's really wonderful is because it also comes with 3 different attachments. So I don't know if we can see this. You have your curling wand. Hold on. You have your curling wand here. You have a round sort of styling brush, and then you also have your oval smoothing brush here. To get the frizzies out on this one, we're gonna use the oval smoothing brush that you just attach to your main tool here. Now, when we're using this tool, you're gonna notice that it has this off feature and the cool air feature. When we are getting the frizzies out, we are gonna keep that cool air feature off. We do not want cool air for this. We want the warm air that's coming out to help to reduce the frizziness on these ends. Now, another reason why this oval brush is great for these longer styles that aren't necessarily completely stick straight is that it gives you an opportunity to kind of round it out and style it a little bit so that it doesn't turn out stick straight with no structure. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take just a spray bottle of water. This is just a water mister from Amazon, and I'm going to spray my fibers and get them just a bit damp. I don't need to drench them, but we're gonna get them pretty damp, especially towards the ends, sort of like the lower half where it does feel quite frizzy. So once my fibers are a bit damp, I'm going to turn this to the medium heat setting. You can see here there's low, medium, and high. So we're at the medium, and I'm gonna turn this to the highest fan. And I'm actually gonna turn the volume off, speed this up so you don't need to sit through and listen to all the sound it's gonna make, but you can just kind of watch as I go through the ends, round out the brush a little bit, and we will see the magic happen after. So we can see on one side, it's been a little bit frizzy, and we'll see kind of what happens once this is all done. Okay, you guys, what I'm gonna do now is, like I showed you earlier, this has a cool air setting here. The reason it has that cool air shot is because synthetic styles only maintain the style you give them if you let it cool and set in a position. So because I don't want this to be too straight, even though I still have, a little bit of structure to it, I want it to have more structure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the hot air setting again, go through it quickly, and then I'm gonna put on the cool air blast here. And as I'm going through it, the cool air is gonna start to shoot out and help set it in the position that I want it. So I'm just kind of explaining what I'm doing so that you know what's going on. So I'm gonna turn on that hot air again to get it into the position I want on this round brush, and then turn on the cool air shot so that it helps to cool it in the position more quickly. Okay, here we go. Okay, now when I release this, it's gonna have more of that curl to it, and it's gonna wanna sit there and stay like that. Okay, now that I'm done the side though, let me show you the difference. So now we have a lot smoother fiber in comparison to this side. And here, let me even like, I'm gonna try and brush and detangle this again, even though I just did it, to show you that even when I have this like as smooth as I possibly can, you can see I'm still fighting to detangle this. It's just never gonna happen. But once I have it like as smooth as I possibly can, this is still fuzzy and like, whoosh, it's still big and frizzy. Whereas this, so much better, right? It has that structure still and it's so much smoother. And now look, I can run my fingers through easy peasy. So much nicer. And you can even see here, now that I'm backing up, how like whew, this side is, and this one is so much more sleek and ready to wear again. Okay, now let's say you do not have the Envy 3-in-1 Air Styler, you do not have a tool similar to it where the heat temperature can be low enough to use on synthetics, then try a steamer if you happen to have one. Now, I've shown how to use a steamer before, and the last time I showed it on here, I had a block canvas head where I put my wig on it so that I didn't necessarily burn myself. But I was also showing how to use a steamer at your roots, how to train your fiber back and away from your face. If I were to do that on me here, I would burn myself and it would not be good. So I do not recommend doing it on your head. However, right now, I'm just using this at the ends of my fiber. I'm not gonna burn myself this way. However, I wanna make a disclaimer. It would probably be best if you put it on the canvas block head. I just find for me, it's easier to demonstrate this for you if I'm doing it on my head. For some reason, it just works better for me. So because I'm not steaming my head and I'm just steaming the ends here, I'm gonna do it still on my head, but you might prefer to do this on a canvas blockhead. Okay, so aside from washing and detangling, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a fine tooth comb, and that just helps guide where my steamer is going. I like to put my steamer underneath because it helps it keep the fiber there. Turn my steamer on, get that steam going, and then I just kind of go for it. I just steam along. And the one thing you need to know about this is that with a steamer, if you're just doing what I'm doing right now, this is going to straighten it out pretty much completely. So if you have any style and structure to it, that's gonna be gone. So just keep that in mind with a steamer. Ooh, sometimes you kind of hit the snags and the tangles and you gotta kind of reset. I'm gonna speed this up and just kind of get this all going for you. Okay, now I'm gonna take my fine tooth comb, and you can see how this comb goes through it so much easily, and it's not hitting any of those snags anymore. So now we have much smoother fiber, but you can tell it's pretty straight. So if I back up here, this is the difference you're gonna see in the two different methods. The Envy 3-in-1 Air Styler can maintain the structure for you. The steamer cannot, unless you style this yourself. And by that, I mean, you might need to get some rollers. You could put some rollers in this, roll up the ends if you want, and then steam it that way and let it cool. And that's gonna give you the structure that you need if you only have a steamer. So there are things you can do if you want to keep that style and structure. Now, something I also like to do once I've finished that, once I have my ends all nice and smooth, I like to take my Simply Stylin' light silk spray. It's just a little silicone spray, and I like to spray just like a teensy bit, 1 or 2 sprays on the ends, and work it through. And that just helps it feel a little bit more silky soft and makes the fibers just feel really nice. I don't like spraying this throughout my whole wig, and I don't like using a ton because it can get a little bit greasy feeling, but I find just 1 little spray helps to prevent some tangles, and it helps just give it that nice finished look. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and hopefully when you get those frizzy ends on your synthetic wigs, at least your straight synthetic wigs, this can help you out and show you that you don't need to call it quits. You don't need to throw it in the garbage. You don't need to cut them off. You can actually do something that's gonna save it and help maintain it and help it last you a much longer time. Let me know if you have any questions though, and I'm happy to help you out in the comments. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye everybody.